Imagine playing chess against a recognized grandmaster. You're holding your own until he reaches down, slides his rook diagonally, and removes your queen. Naturally, you point out the illegal move, but he doesn't apologize. Instead, he tells you the rook has always essentially wanted to move on a diagonal, and he has simply liberated it from the constraints of ordinary chess. You grab the rulebook. You remind him the diagonal is strictly reserved for the bishop. He smiles, gently explaining that the rules are actually a disease, a concealment of the truth that his move just overcame. As far as he is concerned, your reliance on the established vocabulary of the game is undeniable proof that you are entirely blind to what chess actually is. This scenario illustrates a precise structural blueprint for rhetorical manipulation. You cannot win an argument when your opponent rewrites the rules of engagement mid-game to guarantee your defeat. That specific maneuver, the diagonal rook, is the exact intellectual blueprint used by one of the 20th century's most revered philosophers, Martin Heidegger. Reading his work often leaves people staring blankly into space. He has a formidable reputation for dense, impenetrable texts that routinely make smart readers feel wholly inadequate. While contemporaries like Ludwig Wittgenstein demanded absolute clarity in language, Heidegger openly discarded established definitions, a method that would leave logical peers turning in their graves. If you have ever felt stupid trying to decode a difficult academic text, consider this. Your confusion isn't always a failure of intelligence. Sometimes the author rigged the linguistic game from the start. The trick happens in a few distinct steps. First, Heidegger isolates an ordinary, commonly understood word. He then planes off its historical nuance and ambiguity until left with a blank slate. Into that newly emptied space, he locks his own highly specific definition. To defend this new definition, he introduces a concept called Seinsvergessenheit, the forgetting of being. He uses this idea to assure you that he isn't inventing anything new. Instead, he claims society simply forgot what the word always meant, and he is merely doing the archaeological work of digging it back up. If a philosopher openly states a preference for a new definition, you can debate the merits of that choice. By packaging a brand new invention as an ancient historical recovery, he bypasses the need to defend his ideas against standard logical scrutiny. So what happens when you try to push back using standard, universally understood language? Your objection is immediately dismissed. To him, the established vocabulary you are using is just accumulated sediment. The very words you choose to argue with are taken as proof that you haven't grasped his point. He politely requests that you clarify your language before continuing. If you want him to take your critique seriously, you have to speak to him in his specific idiom. That is the trap. The exact moment you adopt his weaponized vocabulary to articulate your disagreement, you concede his foundational premise. Your attempt to object arrives pre-translated into an act of agreement. To be fair, language does carry hidden structures. Words have deep, sedimented histories and meanings that we inherit without choosing. A legitimate historian engages in exposure. They brush away the dirt to reveal a grammatical rule or a layer of meaning that organically developed over centuries. That process is entirely different from legislation. When an authority like the Académie Française decides how a word should be used, they are actively writing a new rule and dictating its future meaning. The sleight of hand here is that Heidegger operates as a linguistic dictator legislating a new law, but he deliberately backdates the receipt to make it look like an archaeological discovery. Which brings us back to the chessboard. Your opponent's illegal rook rests squarely on a diagonal tile next to your captured queen, waiting with the easy patience of someone who already won the game. You might feel a small, disreputable suspicion creeping in. You might wonder if he actually sees something profound that you simply lack the capacity to understand. Profoundly difficult language does not automatically equal deep truth. The next time you find yourself stuck against an impenetrable argument, do not assume you are the problem. First, check to see if the rulebook was rewritten while you weren't looking.